Well, good Friday morning, everybody. It's a rainy Friday, it looks like. And this is September 17th, 2021. We're going to continue looking at chapter 3 in John's Gospel. Yesterday, we started off with Nicodemus visiting Jesus. And what we're looking at today is still that same thing. He's responding to Nicodemus. Christ is. And so this is still part of that dialogue. In fact, I believe what we talk about on Monday will still entirely be I don't think we'll get to the end, I think, of the dialogue between Jesus and Nicodemus on Monday. Remember, tomorrow is Saturday, not doing devotions on Saturday any longer. Then Sunday, of course, we have worship, and we do hope you'll all join us for worship on Sunday at 10 o'clock, either online, we do live stream, or in the sanctuary. So again, we are looking at the third chapter of John's Gospel, verses 11 to 15. So let's dive right into them and get going. Very truly, I tell you, we speak of what we know and testify to what we have seen, yet you do not receive our testimony. If I had told you about earthly things and you do not believe, how can you believe if I tell you about heavenly things? No one has ascended into heaven except the one who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. And just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whoever believes in him may have eternal life. Okay. Again, this is him continuing to respond to Nicodemus's queries to him. It's still that evening time, and he's responding to that whole thing about Nicodemus is confused about the whole thing about being born again from above, and he's still equating it to a fleshly thing, and Jesus is talking about a spiritual thing. And so it's if you can understand it when I explain it as as a metaphor to an earthly thing, you'll never understand it as a spiritual concept, and that those that they're just not ready. The Jewish nation is just not ready yet, it appears, to receive his testimony. But the time is coming. It's getting closer. And of course, Nicodemus will appear, as I said yesterday. He's going to appear twice more in John's Gospel. So his curiosity is not satisfied yet. But the part I want to focus on here is the last verse. And just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. And then verse 15, that whoever believes in him may have eternal life. Jesus is referencing back to what we find in the book of Numbers, in the 21st chapter, and it's verses 4 to 9. This is the RSV I'm reading this from. From Mount Hor they set out by the way to the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom. And the people became impatient on the way, and the people spoke against God and against Moses. Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no food and no water, and we loathe this worthless food. Then the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, so that many people of Israel died. And the people came to Moses and said, We have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against you. Pray to the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. So Moses prayed for the people, and the Lord said to Moses, Make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and everyone who is bitten and sees it will live. So Moses made a bronze serpent and set it on a pole, and if a serpent bit any man, he would look at the bronze serpent and live. Okay. And of course, in that story, in Numbers, the serpents and the serpent bites and the death is all a representative of sin. And not that God brought sin into the world, but free will allowed sin into the world. And God gave us that free will to come to him or to not come to him. And so therefore, free will has allowed sin into the world. God did not bring it in, nor did he bring temptation. Remember back in the book of James, when James talks about that's not the way it works. So the understanding there is that it's the sin of the free will has allowed sin to creep in. The sin is what's biting and killing, but that this is this whole thing about this serpent on the pole is a foretelling. It's a forecasting of Jesus coming, and of course Jesus being raised upon the cross, and so that we can look up and live. And that is the message of the cross. That's the message that we have here in John's Gospel. It was a message that Moses was alluding to, but they wouldn't have understood it that way, of course, at that time. Just they're looking at the power of God to grant life to those that believe in him and have faith in him. And that is really the beauty of it. So with that, it's a short and sweet one for Friday. Remember to look up and live. Look up at the cross. See Jesus there. All right? Have a very, very blessed day. And please, please, please be a blessing to someone today. Tell them about Jesus. We'll see y'all later.